Hey, it's EG. Welcome to the audio version of the Be Yourself Marketing newsletter. And if you haven't checked out the podcast yet, there are real conversations with entrepreneurs just like you, and they're building on their own terms because your best marketing strategy is the one you were born with. Find it wherever you listen. Now, let's get into the newsletter. Vanity versus value. Are your numbers BS? Here's a truth bomb. You're measuring what looks good, not what works. It's the start of summer here. Longer days are bringing longer emails and the odd freebie. When the weather's bad and I'm stuck inside. Hint. Let's talk numbers. Marketing numbers. Are you tracking numbers with value for your business or just vanity to boost your ego? I met a woman in a marketing mastermind community last year. She wants to launch a business. She wants more flexibility and freedom, and that's something she can't get from her job. She has a vision for what that looks like, and in many ways, she's a lot like us. The main difference is she's already making a multiple six-figure income, and even though she lives in Hawaii with the highest cost of living in the U.S., she saves most of her income, and she's willing to invest it in her business. Sounds perfect, doesn't it? There's just one problem, and it's a doozy. She's throwing all her money at the quote-unquote right things for the wrong reasons and in the wrong order. She has a collection of tactics, no marketing strategy, and no way to track results or lack thereof. Not really. And like Peter Drucker says, you can't manage what you don't measure. So my friend thought bigger is better. $18,000 for 1 year of a marketing mastermind. Spend $10,000 on a sales page, not the entire website. Invite people to speak at 1,000-person events. There's lots of impressions and thousands of dollars on Facebook ads. So she kept throwing money at random advice, or things really. And when she reached out to me, she wanted to learn about branding and posting for LinkedIn. Who she wanted to serve, why, her brand, her messaging needed to come before she invested in a sales page, in Facebook ads, and in speaking at events. The challenge people without marketing experience don't have that connection. They're different platforms, and you usually get different people to work on them, but they still have to work together. Unfortunately, I burst her bubble when I started asking questions. Well, how many people are you seeing on your sales page? And of those, how many bought? And where was the greatest drop-off? Or how many people from speaking events joined your newsletter or scheduled a discovery call? Or what about your Facebook ads? Well, it's true that you can't manage what you don't measure. If you're measuring the wrong things, the quote-unquote vanity metrics, you're probably better off not measuring at all. Think about it. You have a compass, and you're constantly checking in to see if you're heading north. You're quote-unquote on track, right? Wrong. You're supposed to be headed south. And because you're so focused on following the arrow north, you're not stopping to question why you're getting colder weather instead of warmer. For her, the answer was always, I don't know. When asked why, she said, blank suggested it. What she knows is that after $50,000 and more than a year of effort, she still didn't have a client. Not one. And she didn't understand why. And honestly, she's not alone. My first retainer client as a copywriter and marketer was a musician. He's been in the industry longer than I've been alive, and I'm closing in on qualifying for seniors discounts, people. He spent his entire career under a label and finally went independent. The week before I met him, an agency, quote-unquote, sold him on using them to help him build awareness, and they guaranteed views on YouTube. Yes, you need more awareness to help increase views and streams and fans. The agency took his 4-minute average watch time on YouTube. Now, an average song length is about 3.5-4 minutes. So he was killing it on YouTube. And in less than 24 hours after his ads launched, the average watch time plummeted to 40 seconds. But the agency did what they promised. They got the number of views guaranteed. Now, guaranteed to put money in the agency's bank account, not grow my client's business. The problem was that he didn't know, and he had no control over who was getting the views and what the message was. It turns out the agency ran ads to everyone. Their focus was not on getting fans to help build the client's music career. The focus was on getting the count for the eyeballs to help themselves. So when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one, according to Meredith Hill. I hear far too many stories like this. They're cautionary tales of not looking at the bigger picture. How does it all work together? And what order should I work on them? Because while everyone loves music, not everyone loves the same music. Because standing on the stage in front of 1,000 random people boosts your ego, not your bottom line. And because paying for ads without putting them in front of the right people, using the right messaging in the right platform, just obviously doesn't work. So the question is, which numbers boost your vanity and which build your business? Does the number reflect action or just attention? Now here's a hint. Clicks, replies, sales equal actions. Views and likes, not so much. Can I use the number to calculate the ROI with the return on investment and then adjust my strategy? So for example, knowing your cost per lead helps you budget versus knowing reach increased 12% does not. How does this number directly tie into my revenue, leads, or client retention? If it doesn't, it's probably not helping your bottom line. If the number goes up or down, can I track how it helps or hurts my business growth? Or does it just make me feel good for a minute? Is the number growing, but conversions and sales aren't? For example, your email list doubles, but nobody's opening or clicking or buying. So that's classic vanity trap. Would you share this number with a coach or investor to prove your business's health? So for example, 35% of leads converted last month. Sounds powerful. Versus a reel got 10,000 views. That's all fluff. Does this number align with how I want to run my business? So a big audience looks impressive. But if you want a small, high-touch client roster, why are you chasing volume? These are just a few questions to consider. Now, I can send you a guide, include a link in the show notes, and on their own, some or most of the numbers without context can be vanity metrics. But when you string them together and connect the dots from one to the next, they can actually transform into KPIs, which are key performance indicators. Nothing is ever black and white. The truth is, I hate to say it, it depends. And it depends should be the start to every answer you ask experts, right? So if you don't hear an it depends and they clarify, red flag. The more you understand your numbers, the less likely people can sell you on things that help them more than you. Make it a great key performance filled week.